I'm looking for advice on how to like coordinate all these things. I have a bad knee and a bad back, and I've got like the foot surgery and the upper trap tightness. And
what somatics is a field is moving and feeling. Really, it's movement and awareness. And feeling is the way we gain that awareness. It's this feedback loop. Moving, feeling. And we bring out you can use the imagination, the images, and the creativity of the body to bring awareness where it's been missing. It's like, I like to think of somatics as science from the inside. Science is always working with like, what can we observe? And it's done from the outside, right? It's like done objectively. We treat everything as an object. This is a subject. It's a being. I am a being.
And they're all different.
This body's a being. So I have to go inside it to do the experiments, to ask the questions. For me, I was born with like inguinal hernias and I had very tight fascia overall. So I had to become an expert in my body to enjoy being in my body. And it's hard because we're a very linear, you could say masculine, like, here's how it works. The arm goes here. I gave you some structures. The structures are all very useful for some things and different things. Under it, what I've come to think of as a more feminine aspect of it is the feeling in and letting the intrinsic curiosity drive the bus a little. And so feel into the right side of your body and like let it be breathed. It's like we think of breath as the air, but really it's the movement. And the whole body moves with breath because all the parts are connected. The shoulder blades ride on the back of the ribs, but the actual bony connection of joints is through the front. One of the keys for what you're experiencing where you've been, feeling your shoulders come up and stuff, usually the shoulders come up when the connection to the center is lost. Oftentimes emotions will start to come with this, like you may be doing it and then it's like, why am I thinking about that? Or why am I, laughing all of a sudden? Or why am I crying all of a sudden? Or like, that's normal. Can you feel from today how the ribs are underneath everything that's on the surface?
Yeah.
The ribs are at
they're actually core. There.
Yeah. The whole spinal system works together. It's one whole, right? There's all these parts, but head, ribs, pelvis are always, that's the spine is the connective system of head, ribs, pelvis.
Because I know sometimes I would go to, they call it the osteomanipulation therapist.
Yep.
And they could poke around in here and they'd be like, oh yeah, this rib is stuck up or down. And I would always be like, how can they tell?
How can they tell? I think it's that piece of just asking the question, right? So getting down here, and then like, can I feel my ribs moving? How's it doing? Can I feel, the connection to the ground and play with it? And if you're like, what I find in my body is if I do that and I'm really impatient and everything feels kind of like, it's not moving. And you said to me, I'm not really aware of my ribs.
I wasn't until now. And
exactly.
all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, those poor ribs. I've ignored them all this time. Like I would rely on another person to poke around and say, oh yeah, they're stuck, but.
How do we play? How do we listen in and move and feel? Because it's this feedback loop.